health deck is that?
What are people playing these days?
Yeah, it might be that he's a fairly new player and he does not have too many cards. So he has to make do with the standard ones. Then again, he's a good player if he reached rank 13 with that.
Yeah. Coda, if Shooter would have unleashed this turn, then we would have had equality. It wasn't the best, but we'd kind of waste equality, and our opponent kind of waste unleash. So that would be fine.
I might play equality and trade. I might True Silver Champion, but if I kill the Grizzly, then we buff this one more time. We can't kill it with the minions. So I would have to trade the minions and take the 5 damage. So I guess it's perfectly worth to play equality. With Consecration does not do anything, does
yeah,
it?
I prefer Consecration, because you send
Really?
the 1/1 into the 3/3, and then you kill the hyena.
Okay. Leaves us with no board, of course, but that's the same as with the other solution.
Yeah, exactly.
And he will now. I would have predicted a bow now, but he plays always Huffer.
Yep.
Okay, so we could be annoying and play a second Consecration right after. Frankly, since there's not really another play, okay, I could True Silver and kill the Juggler. Then again, I take 1 damage after the healing and 4 damage next turn, which makes me 17, 16, 15, right? 15. And this is already quite low, because if he bows and
yeah,
so
I like the
prefer to
Consecration.
consecrate.
Yeah, it's
Still
pretty,
no board, but yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying, but actually, Coda made a good Pawnage made a good point. The Grizzly could have been from the web spinner.
Right, yeah.
And that we just forgot to keep track.
But it would not have showed that as with Portal, right? You can't see that if it is.
No, it doesn't show.
So we should do anything to deny him card draw here, because that's our biggest advantage.
Yeah.
So either we True Silver and kill the Cult Master. Then again, I could also play Minipod after that, but he could use the Juggler then next turn. So we could also use our 3rd board clear. On the other hand, that might be stupid if he comes up with something big. I don't know. This is the first situation since we coach that I'm completely unsure what I would play. If I'd play Minipot and True Silver, or I think health is an issue here, so I might even prefer the Wild Pyro and Equality. Can still Minipot after.
I think I True Silver because
on the
yeah, definitely. Yeah, we don't want him to get cards. Because we take damage, and that's very annoying, but our opponent has 3 cards, so he's gonna fill the board now, and then we can power equality and be fine. But if he doesn't fill the board, then we're quite happy. Okay.
Phew. Quite obvious plays Eldor the lower tap. And clear board with the killing those 2, with one with the sword and the other with he remains with the 1/5, of course, but
yeah, that's okay.
we have 4 spare mana which we can only dude up with, right?
I would play the MC tech because
Really, just to have a body, because he has so low cards.
Yeah, because if our opponent has 4 minions, we're in a bad shape. So we'd rather play the MC tech and make sure he doesn't build up a board. This is stronger than a 1-1, especially since we don't have quartermasters. Yep.
I bet this would have been a mistake that I would have made, because I tend to be too greedy on triggering the battle cries. So I might not have played that, and that might have been a mistake. So 10 is really not an awful lot versus a hunter.
Nope, definitely not.
That might be his 5 damage spell, but he has no beasts. He gets a random trap if we kill that. If he's face hunter, it's likely to be a fire trap, and we get 2 more damage.
Is he face hunter though?
Well, I can't tell. He has so low draw that we did not see enough.
If he was pure face hunter, he wouldn't have Lothar. He wouldn't have hyenas. Yeah.
So what if we just play Cockhammer, kill off the lower tap, just not to give him the trap early, and follow this up with just a dude? Or do you go face to make pressure?
I think I would kill Lothar in case. Yeah, okay, yeah. Now you're, yeah. I would have killed Lothar with both my minions and attacked face with the weapon. Because one of our minions, well, both our minions would be at 2 HP, but it doesn't matter. But now we took 1 extra damage on our face, and it could matter. Oh, we're alive. Oh, great.
Close one. I had a little distraction, a little family distraction, so I could not perfectly follow that turn. Did he?
Okay, he
Did he dual unleash or what?
Yeah, he unleashed.
And
he played a bow and got the trap. Yeah.
Probably a fire trap. So what can we do? We can play Harrison to get his bow, draw a card. Then again, we would need some healing.
Yeah.
So we could trigger the. Then again, it could be a different trap. It could be snakes also. So should we test for snakes first?
I think we have to get rid of his minions, and if it's snakes, then we're going to be forced to pyro equality, which is very annoying. Okay.
So this is his fire trap, yeah?
Yeah.
So we have to heal, so I would sacrifice the Cockhammer.
But we okay, so you would
I would
attack
Harrison and True Silver his face.
If you True Silver his face, you don't heal.
I heal for 2?
Yeah, but then you take 2 damage.
What do I do then?
I would equip the True Silver and wait.
Okay.
It's a minor change.
Yeah, but we're dead.
I think the best play would actually have been to True Silver the 1/1, because that way he would have had to draw 4 damage, and there's only Leroy or an Arcane Golem. Because he has many ways to deal 3 damage, like the kill command or the bow. So by healing for we couldn't heal for 2 with the True Silver, because if we hit the face we took 2 as well. But if we healed for 2 by attacking the dog, then we would have healed for 1, and he would have needed 4 damage instead of 3.
So I will play around the trap by killing the creeper, so he does not have a beast remaining. Question being, how do I do that? Do I kill the creeper with the True Silver or with Harrison? Or even with the 3/1 that would die to the trap anyway?
Is there something? Yeah, I think I would kill the creeper with Aldor, because it dies to the explosive. Then I would play the Acolyte and hit the face.
hit the face.
Yeah, because then we have lethal next turn.
Alright.
And we cannot die. And then I would play a dude.
We cannot die, you said.
There is no way that our
2,
opponent
3,
draws enough damage.
4. Okay. If he would need... Yeah, he would need the gas legendary from 3GVG to kill us, right? Cool.
Good game!
Yeah, you played this differently than I would have. Yeah. So I might have lost it, so...
Alright, which brings me to my commentaries.
Yeah.
About your play. So of course it's hard to know exactly what, like I can't pinpoint exact things that could improve your win rate by a lot, but actually like Bolek said, and I totally forgot to say hi. So hi Bolek, how are you doing? You're totally not worth rank 13 just by how you explain your plays and how you play. And like you said, you've been up to rank 4, I think you said. And you've been around rank 5 multiple times. So you definitely have the level to be rank 5, but like you say, sometimes you don't have time, or you have your family that distracts you. And that's a big thing, actually, when you can't concentrate. That really hurts the win rate. So that's the thing. But just for the how you explained your plays, you thought through them from the fact that you use the deck tracker and actually take note of your win rates and everything. I definitely think you totally have the potential to go legend. But I mean, I say that
where should the improvement? Where's the big improvement that I? You said there's no point that you would be able to point out, which is.
Oh yeah, exactly. I
exactly.
still have tips though. I still have tips, because of course the fact that I say that you have the potential to go legend totally doesn't help you get there. But one thing that I noted particularly is, wait, I have two, and I'm gonna know the second one before I forget. Okay, because I'm very good at forgetting things. So we saw in the last game when I said you should go face instead of killing the creeper. It sounds kind of like nothing, but it's very important to know when to stay defensive and to go hyper control, and when to go face and put your opponent on a clock. And that's something
to threaten lethal, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And not only threaten lethal the following turn. It's something you explained a lot of things when you played, but one thing that you never mentioned is the fact that you can put your opponent on a clock. And that's very important. When you play control, at some point, your odds of winning are greater if you choose to ignore the board or to control the board not completely and start going face. Because when you're defending, and a lot of time you're defending with the Paladin, your opponent is gonna draw cards that might kill you or put a new board that you won't be able to deal with, especially with Paladin, where your equalities and your consecrations are pretty much your only board clears, and you also have a pyromancer. But like in this hunter game, if the hunter managed to get a board, we had no way to clear it. We already used 2 consecrations and 1 equality, so it was very unlikely that we drew the second equality with our pyromancer. So we had to finish the game before our opponent managed to get a board and kill us. And if we waste time by sending Harrison Jones into 1/1s, and that kind of stuff, then we might actually die to our opponent just drawing a bow, hero powering every turn, and etc.
I see. Okay.
So, in the last turn, it was better to hit the face and kill our opponent next turn, because we could realize that there was no way that our opponent could kill us. So that was pretty straightforward. But sometimes you also have to recognize that we could set up for lethal in 3 turns or in 4 turns, and our opponent is top decking. So we have the edge, and we can afford to let 2 damage on the board, because we're going to kill our opponent faster than he's going to kill us. But if we send our Jones into 1/1s and just stall the game, our opponent is going to kill us faster than we're going to kill our opponent.
So learn to switch when to put more pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And the concept of putting your opponent on a clock is to threaten lethal over X number of turns. And that way you can calculate, okay, with my current hand and with the average stuff that my opponent can draw, I should be able, and with my board, obviously, I should kill my opponent in 3 turns. So is it better for me to control the board, or to have to deal with 3 extra draws and then win the game? And a lot of time, you have to realize that moment when you're control, that at some point you have to go face and not let enough time for your opponent to draw the cards to kill you.
So from the games that we played, would you think that I play control for too long in general, that I'm switching too late? Because times I had the feeling that the beginner's error is to go face too early, and maybe for that reason I hold on to control for too long.
Yeah, and actually, beginners make bad trades and go face for no reason. Like, it happened in a few games where you said, well, even if I'm defending this game, I'm still going face with my mini bot, because there's no reason to attack into a minion that I'm not gonna kill. So that's a good thing to realize. But you after making bad trades, the next common error is to not realize that you should not be making trades at the moment, and just go and put pressure, because the aggro decks like Hunter or Mech Mage or the aggro Priest don't have removal, or when they do, they have very few removal. They're not made to regain board control. They're made to start with board control and not lose it before they have lethal.
So from what you are saying, I also have to brighten my knowledge about popular deck builds. So
yeah,
of course this is not valid at rank 13, 14, but once we get higher ranks like 5 or whatever, I can only advance if I perfectly know that Mech Priest is running only 1 Shadow Word.
Yeah, that was my second point. Knowing the metagame decks is also very important, because then you can make metagame calls. Like exactly like you said, this hunter is face hunter, so he should have explosive. But if you know the current decks that are played, the face hunter totally doesn't look like the one we were facing. So then you couldn't make the assumption that it's explosive trap.
So this is why you sent me the link for the meta decks.
Yeah, exactly. For anyone, I'm gonna link it as well. For anyone that didn't see the Magic Community's meta snapshot, you have to check this, because it really helps you know what are the popular decks at the moment. So I'm linking it. Yeah, that's a great point, Howard. That if you, because you said at the before we went live that you don't like playing the popular decks, which are the aggro decks, most of the time.
Yeah, I don't like to play aggro. I don't like to play the typical bully decks like Mech Mage now or Base Hunter as it was before the last nerf.
Yeah, so as much as I understand that, when you play these decks, you understand how they work, and then you can counter them better. Because by playing these decks, then you understand their point of view, and then you can play better against them. So practicing these decks could actually really help you beat them.
Apart from the like 5k wins experience that I already had.
Yeah.
Okay. So if any one of the viewers is on you, I do not know. I switched to the cast now, to your cast now. I don't know. Is it okay for you if I show my battle tag? So if you have EU viewers that want to add me,
totally
can do that.
Yeah, sure. If you want to get practice with people,
I have to move the deck tracker.
Yeah. And I also have one other comment.
Yes.
About the it's related to the meta when I talked about like mech priests don't run Shadowward Pain and that kind of thing. Another thing is you can recognize the archetypes, the deck archetypes, and like assume what they should run and what they shouldn't. For example, if you've never seen Mech Priest and you have no idea how it works, and you didn't see Kibler's list, so you don't know if they run Shadowward Pain, if they run Shadow Madness, you can still make an educated guess by looking at what you've seen, and you see double Mech Warper, you see Shadow Bombers, you see that he's going aggressive with his Cleric. Then you didn't see a lot of late game cards. Well, then you can assume that your opponent is playing an aggressive deck, and an aggressive deck cannot have too many removal in their deck, especially Priest, because then they won't be able to get to snowball, get the tempo early enough.
Okay, so use logic to judge the cards I have seen so far and imagine what else could be in the deck, even if I do not perfectly know it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what you mean. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And sometimes it doesn't work, of course, but there's no 100% method anyways. But you can still try to, because you cannot, like you said, you can't play around everything, otherwise you're never going to play stuff.
Of course, of course.
And
so the last question that I would have is, what do you think is the potential of the custom built Pali deck that we played? Because I don't think you would suggest any changes now, or would you?
Not at the moment. The only one I would think about suggesting are the ones that I talked to you before we went live. So it was maybe taking off Ascension to play either a 6-drop or a 3-drop, depending on if you want to be more defensive or more... No, actually, if you want to be more... to beat more late game, then you'd play a 6-drop. If you want to beat more early game, you'd play a 3-drop. Because we, with the True Silver and the Consecration, you have a lot of things to play on for.
So swap one engine for either Belcher or what was the second possibility?
You could play a Black Knight or Sylvanas.
Yeah.
Or you could play a 3-drop as well.
Okay.
And another thing, I don't think the Argus has been very useful so far. We've used it once.
Yeah.
And it was useful once, but maybe Argus could be something else. Like, what if you play Belcher instead of Argus?
Yeah.
That could be a possibility as well.
Yeah, the only difference that this makes for me, that I see Argus even more than his defensive abilities as an offensive surprise. You just add two damage that your opponent doesn't count on coming. So like you would add a Flame Tongue or whatever.
But then, I'm just throwing ideas.
Yeah,
then
but then
maybe
it might be more useful. You get one blessing of might for it. I understand.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
And yeah, with the blessing of might, you could actually not only have the surprise damage, but also buff an enemy minion so you can big game hunter it.
Point taken.
Yeah. You could also play an abusive surgeon, so you have a 2-1 body and one less attack. But it's not permanent. But usually, blessing of might doesn't last more than a turn. So that's an idea. And then, do I have another one? If you
avenge, perhaps. So you have a turn 1 play that helps you with early board.
I'm not sure I like it because against control it's gonna be pretty bad.
And people play around it also.
Yeah, and I don't like the Paladin secrets without a scientist because it's a terrible draw.
Mm.
Yeah, and your cards are so you have so few cards that you can't really afford to have just avenge and like a lot of the games you're fishing for either removal, healing, or that kind of stuff.
AoE.
So you can't really draw everything one turn later because you drew avenge.
Need more card draw? Or not? Card draw is okay?
I think it's
as
fine.
long as I keep the Acolyte, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Maybe you could try and change Argus for a Gnomish Inventor or a Senjin for a Gnomish Inventor. But we have a lot of 4 drops, so
to add what's the guy called that steals the secrets? Given that I ran in a ton of hunters and mages on the ladder.
Oh, Keys and Mystic.
I might swap it for that because grabbing a secret may be a huge deal.
Yeah, that could be a good idea.
Okay, so I think I've just gotten a huge share of your time on your show, and
that's totally fine.
I would like to say thank you very much for that. I enjoyed the coaching; it was very nice, and I will also stay on your stream now and follow it until I fall asleep.
Nice.
And thanks again for having me. And we will make dissolution concerning my donation like we talked before stream.
Yeah, we'll find a way. No
because
problem.
you are perfectly worth having a donation for this, and I say thank you again. And I encourage everyone who's listening to your stream to contact you for the coaching.
Yay.
And also to give you a donation because you perfectly deserve it. I love the stream, I really do. And
Yay,
I hope
thanks
there
a lot.
might be even a second. I don't know if you do coach the same person multiple times.
Yeah.
I perfectly would enjoy another time if you need someone into the show, or if you just have time, then I'd be happy you had me again.
Yeah, sure, totally. If you whenever you want, we could set up a coaching for another Saturday.
Yeah, would be awesome. Thank you very much, and my best regards.